Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is John Vine, and what we're going to be talking about today are coding bootcamps. What are they? Are they worth it? I've been seeing a lot of content online recently about bootcamps, and I've been getting a lot of conflicting information. You know, some people are saying it's good, some people are saying they're so not worth it, they're overpriced, and they're a scam. So I decided to kind of look into it, do a bit of my own research, and let you guys know what my personal opinion is. So if you're new to the channel, my name is John Vine. What we do here is we talk about software engineering, and I try to give you guys tips based on my experience to help you guys achieve your goals of becoming a full-time software developer. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you like the content. I think right now around 90% of you guys are not actually subscribed. So subscribing would be a lot of help and I would greatly appreciate it. So what are bootcamps, right? So bootcamps are basically, a fast-tracked way to, get your foot in the door when you want to learn how to code and be a software developer, right? It's basically a shortened, intense curriculum. I would say maybe between 12 weeks, so a couple of months to a year, maybe on average there's 6 to 9 months. So it's really short-term to long-term, whatever you want. Usually they're around 40 to 60 hours a week. And ultimately what the goal is you enter a coding bootcamp with zero experience, right? You have basically no projects, no coding experience. You don't really know how to code. And the goal is to get you a job. The goal is to teach you enough within this certain time frame to get you a job and to be able to get you to interview and get a job successfully, right? Now that is the entire scope of a boot camp to my understanding. So what they do is help you get a job and help you get interviews, but that's it, right? To actually succeed in the job, you're gonna have to keep the momentum going and keep the learning going. And that's kind of one of the feedbacks that I've seen very often online is that people think that boot camps are just you pay the money, they're gonna teach you everything, do all the work for you, find you a job, and you're solid, right? As long as you pay the money. But in reality, a lot of people have trouble getting jobs. I know some people that have, gone a year after a boot camp and not gotten jobs. So it definitely isn't a guarantee of getting a job, but overall, it's very similar to, a college degree, but super accelerated and a lot more specific topics. You're not learning about the fundamentals of computer science. You're not learning about, a lot of theory or doing a lot of math. Rather, you're really only learning the specific tools that you need to get a job. So for example, right, you pick a specific path and let's say you want to be a web developer. So you go into a boot camp and the skills that are going to teach you, obviously it's going to be different between boot camps, but the skills they're going to teach you are going to be things like JavaScript and React maybe and Ruby. So just, the necessary skills to help you get a job as a web developer. That's it. They're not going to teach you anything else. So usually, obviously, they're in person. The kind of vibe I got was that it's kind of like a classroom atmosphere. But obviously these days, everything is online, everything's remote. A lot of the services that teach you how to code, right, like App Academy or Hack Reactor, all that stuff, they do have remote options now. And also a good thing that I've seen is that the remote options are usually cheaper than what it was before, right? With the full-time online, not online, but in-person experience. So they've actually gotten cheaper, which is a pretty good thing. I have noticed that college is online right now and the tuitions haven't gotten cheaper. At least here in Toronto and Canada, I've realized that, tuition isn't cheaper, but everything's online now. So students are kind of getting scammed in that point. But, boot camps, apparently they seem to have made it cheaper, so that's awesome. And basically what I understand is there's lectures on a lot of topics, there's a lot of projects that you work on, and what you do with these projects is you ideally want to put them on your resume so that they replace the experience that you don't have if you're learning how to code, right? And then you can talk about them on your interview, and these projects are definitely a lot more in-depth, very advanced, and they use a lot of technology that'll help you get a job, right? They're not simple coding projects. You might start with simple ones, but definitely you're building very complex projects, which is an awesome thing. Another thing that I've seen a lot of bootcamps do is, offer you help with getting an interview. So maybe review your resume or help you do mock interviews, which is a great thing to see. Now, at the same time, I have read online that a lot of bootcamps don't do that, right? So they kind of just get you to a point where you can interview and get a job, but actual practice for the interview and practice for getting the job is not included. Now, obviously it depends on the bootcamp, right? Probably depends on how much you paid as well. But I think that, obviously I've mentioned it on my channel before, actually interviewing for a job is a completely different skill set, right, than actually working as a software developer. I think they're two completely different skills. And so if a bootcamp is teaching you the skills necessary to succeed, at getting a job and working as a software developer, and they're not teaching you how to pass the technical interview, then it's definitely missing a huge chunk of what you need to know to succeed as a software developer to actually get the job. It's missing a lot of those skills. So yeah, I've talked about this before. I think the best way to practice for technical interviews is to go on LeetCode and just do a couple of questions here and there every day. Start with easy when you can do one every hour, go on to medium, and kind of work from there and build up your experience solving technical problems. I think you'll have no trouble kind of getting into the rhythm of how to solve a problem and different patterns to use. Something that I didn't know is that you have to apply and actually get in, right? They don't just take anyone that's willing to pay. You actually have to apply, pass an interview to actually get in. And once you're in, what is the cost, right? This is what probably a lot of you guys are wondering. How much does it cost to go to a bootcamp? Now, what I've seen online is it costs somewhere from a couple of $1,000s to tens of thousands of dollars. Now there's kind of a number of different payment plans that they offer. So you can either do like an upfront payment, you just pay for the whole thing, or you can do a percentage of your salary once you get a job, right? Which is kind of a scary thing. I've seen numbers from 15, 17% of your salary for a certain amount of time, maybe a year or two once you get a job, and that's how you pay for your program. Now, if you get $100,000 job, right? Let's just say after you graduate from bootcamp, then you're paying them $17,000. It's a lot of money, and just the percentage thing is just kind of sketchy to me. I probably wouldn't do that. And then looking at the other option, which is you pay $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. As I evaluate, the options more and what you're kind of getting out of these programs, I kind of don't see how you can learn something in a bootcamp that you can't learn in person or by yourself for free at home, right? If you're building these complex projects and using resources online that you find, you can't do a lot of this and you can't get a job for free. So I'm not sure that these bootcamps are worth it. That being said, there's a lot of very promising statistics online. Hack Reactor has an 80% success rate. So within 180 days, which is 6 months, 80% of their graduates have a job, which is awesome. On App Academy, their graduates claim to have an average salary of $85,000 USD, which is also really good. And there's another one called Brain Station, which is another kind of coding bootcamp, and they claim to have 90% of their graduates employed within 6 months of graduating. So if all these things are true, these are definitely great resources. If you have the money and you think it's the right decision to make, 100% go for it. I'm just saying that I might not do that if it was me in your shoes and I had to learn to code, but I also had different responsibilities. I don't know that I'd be dropping $10,000 on a bootcamp. You also have to factor in that these are full-time, right? Like 40 to 60 hours a week. So there's also the time factor involved, right? It seems like coding bootcamps are a great way for someone to accelerate getting their foot in the door when it comes to coding, right? I can imagine that if you're already in your 30s or 40s and you're already set in stone in a certain career and you want to switch paths, you can definitely see how 6 months at a boot camp, it's kind of short term. You spend the money and you learn, and then you come out with a decent chance of getting a job, right? Especially if you pick the right boot camp and you do your research and you have the right program, you're learning the right things, then for sure it seems like a good idea. That being said, it's definitely not guaranteed, right? I said this in the beginning of the video, and you could be kind of fooled into thinking that, okay, I'm gonna go to this boot camp and then I'm gonna have a job after, but that's definitely not how it works. And it's definitely kind of the vibe I'm getting from a lot of these websites, but you have to understand that it's not a guarantee. And there is the risk of you paying all this money and then not having a job afterwards. So that being said, in my research, I saw that App Academy actually does return your full tuition if you don't have a job after 36 months. So that's 3 years. If you don't have a job still, they return all your money. So they do have plans in place for, this insurance, let's call it, if you actually don't get a job. But, obviously these plans are going to be in favor of the bootcamp that is teaching you. So, it really doesn't benefit you if you're not getting a job, right? You wasted time and you wasted your money. So like I said before, I'm not really 100% convinced from my research. Now, obviously I went to college and I'm working full-time now, so I don't have this, the experience of actually going to a bootcamp myself. But from what I'm seeing, I don't really see a bootcamp for myself being worth it. I think a lot of things you learn in a bootcamp could be taught and could be learned online. But, you have to be super self-motivated to do that. You have to have a lot of discipline. You have to, dedicate the time and be super consistent. And obviously I understand that, going to a class, in the form of a boot camp is definitely easier. It's definitely, you know, a higher chance of success. So I obviously get it. And I just wanted to make this video so you guys make your own informed decision of whether or not you should attend a boot camp. I would say if you're, you know, in your teens and you're in high school, go to college. If you've kind of already graduated, I would try to learn to code myself. I would try to see if I really enjoy it. Maybe take a course online. There's definitely like $10 courses, there's free courses. Take a code online first. See if you actually like coding before spending thousands of dollars to, you know, learn it and get a job. And then who knows, maybe while you're seeing if you like coding, you see that, okay, I'm kind of getting the hang of this. Let me try building this project. Let me watch a couple of videos. Let me try to take this course. And then you can realize that, you know, you don't actually have to spend those thousands of dollars at a boot camp to get a job, right? And I want to stress it again, just to end off the video, that if you're not motivated and you think that this bootcamp is kind of going to be a replacement for your motivation, right? You're going to think, okay, I just dropped $10,000. I have to learn now. I have to do this and I have to succeed. That could be a good strategy. I definitely see where you're coming from, but you know, it might not be a good idea because the thing is, a lot of bootcamps are very independent, right? A lot of the motivation and a lot of the discipline is still going to be on your end, especially now with it not being in a classroom environment and everything being online. So you definitely have to be super motivated and super disciplined still. And the most important thing, and I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, but a lot of people don't keep learning after they graduate. They graduate and then they're like, okay, now time for me to get a job. But you know, you really have to understand, like, you learn a certain amount, like if this is the level of a full-time software engineer and this is someone who hasn't ever worked or coded a day in their lives, what a coding bootcamp will get you is like here, you know, just enough to, you know, get an interview, get a job, but you have to keep working and keep progressing, keep learning how to code afterwards to succeed, to move on in your career and to build different things. And a lot of people just basically stop. They think once they're graduated, they're good, they know how to code, and they should just get a job and they stop there. So make your own decisions, guys. I think personally, not worth it to go to a boot camp. You might disagree, leave a comment down below if you disagree. If you went to a boot camp and you know you've had amazing results and it was super worth it, I definitely get it. I'm just stating my opinion. But if you did go to a boot camp, leave your experience down in the comments below. I would love to hear, you know, what kind of experiences you guys had. Also, guys, let me know if you like this kind of content. Leave a like if you like the video and subscribe as well. Like I mentioned before, 90% of you guys are not subbed right now. So a sub, a like definitely helps a lot. In the end, guys, boot camps can get you a job. It's definitely not guaranteed, and I just want you guys to make the best decisions for yourselves. So take all this information however you will. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and take it easy. Peace out.